Yeah, we had, yeah, it's out there by Cameron. Backyard there in the winter and put collars on them. And some of those migrated all the way up to the Charlemont to wintering areas. And we had others that would come 20 miles in other directions to get to these wintering areas. We'll see when we get to the very top here, we'll talk a little bit more about that. So they may change where they spend their time and reduce their food intake and live off some stored fat as well. Or they may change completely what they eat, right? Some species have to do that. They just change, whether they're herbivores or carnivores, they have to change what they're searching for, and they do that. Some animals store food, like some of the squirrels and chipmunks and mice will sometimes cache food that they can access when they come out of those hibernation bouts. And then some animals like bears just avoid it. They say, all right, no food, I'm just going to sleep for the winter. The other physiological adaptation that they have that's really unique is something called delayed implantation. So you've heard of that? So their breeding season is like June and July. And so you'll see males and females together for a day or two. That's when they breed. The eggs get fertilized and they stop developing after about 400 cell divisions. So they have what's called a blastocyst, or usually 3 or 4 of them. And those blastocysts just kind of float around in the uterus all summer long. So they're not really pregnant in terms of having a fetus that's developing. They just have these, blastocysts that float in the uterus. And then in the late fall, so typically late November to early December, those blastocysts will implant in the uterus, and then they start developing a placenta, and the fetuses grow, and then they're born basically 8 weeks later in January.
8 weeks?
Yeah, so they're only pregnant for about 8 weeks, even though they've mated in the summer. So they have that ability, and they're like half a pound when they're born. Yeah.